Hello, this is Brian Choi, Managing Partner and CEO of the Food Institute. We're here at Gulf Food 2025. I have with me one of the speakers here at Gulf Food, Doug Evans. Doug is the co-founder and CEO of the Sprouting Company. Welcome to our program.
Thank you so much for having me, Brian.
So first, I got to ask you, why are you here in Dubai?
Well, it's interesting. Dubai has food scarcity issues. So most food is not grown here. It's imported in. Even for the demos here, the sprouts are coming from the Netherlands.
Wow.
So a lot of produce is flown in, and Dubai is planning on doubling their population in the next 10 years.
Tell us a little bit about your background. You have a fascinating company, but tell us how you got to where you are today.
So I did not grow up with hippie parents growing sprouts. So I grew up in New York City, and I was an artist. And then I became a paratrooper in the US Army.
Wow.
And then I got into computer graphics. And then in 1999, my entire family pretty much suffered from chronic illnesses, heart disease, diabetes, cancer. So that led me on this quest, and I realized that I was living a carcinogenic lifestyle. So I shifted my diet into eating more plants. What I learned about the benefits of phytonutrients and fiber was that they were really healing. So this was the early work around the microbiome. It was the early work around reversing heart disease and having a cancer prevention diet using the chemoprotective properties, of cruciferous vegetables. And that path led me to eating a lot of plants. And then I always loved sprouts. They were a garnish or a side dish in my life, but 8 years ago I moved to the Mojave Desert. And not only was it an environmental desert, it was a food desert. And so being in a food desert, we had no Whole Foods, we had no supermarkets, no farmers markets, but nothing grew there, right? We had some cacti and creosotes, but nothing edible was growing there. And then the universe whispered sprouts. Within 30 days, I was living on sprouts. So in 1 cubic foot, using 6 jars.
Wow.
Right,
so tell me, so what is this right here?
This is a sprouting kit that I co-designed.
Wow.
That is basically anything that touches the sprouts is stainless steel and glass. And this is a 55-ounce jar. And in 6 jars, in 1 cubic foot, I was growing thousands of calories a day of whole food, living, plant-based nutrition.
Wow. So this was 100% of your diet?
100% of my diet. I had no other food.
Wow, that's amazing. So what do you do for protein? I assume the sprouts have a degree of protein.
Every single seeds have a lot of protein in them, but the seeds are not that bioavailable. So when you sprout a seed, you reduce the phytic acid, the lectins, the enzyme inhibitors, and every single sprout turns out to have every amino acid, every essential amino acid to form complete proteins.
That's absolutely amazing. So tell us how your physical health changed after you took on this 100% plant-based diet.
So I'm 58 years old now.
Okay.
I am in the best physical, mental, spiritual shape of my life. So my endurance, my strength, it's just like everything changed. I shed about 36 pounds of body fat, subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. But then I started to gain more energy. And it's really interesting that almost all food that people are consuming is dead. And like even if you're buying fresh produce, which is healthy, it's separated from the root system. Right? So it still may be raw, it still may be fresh, but it's actually dying or decaying.
Right.
Where the sprouts are enzymatically rich, and you're eating the root, the shoot, the endosperm, the embryo. It's enzymatically alive.
In the U.S., which is where I live, why aren't we seeing more sprouts? Given all the health benefits that you're telling me, and why aren't we seeing more of that as part of our diet rather than a garnish in a specific dish?
I think predominantly sprouts were nature's first food, so seeds that germinated. And in many cultures around the world, sprouts are a staple of the diet. In the US, we live in a convenience culture. It's the melting pot of capitalism. So if you go into, whether it's a Walmart or a Whole Foods or Albertsons, the things that are on the shelves are shelf stable. They've been cooked, they've been pasteurized, they've been processed, there's additives, preservatives, forgetting about food colorings and dyes, that's a whole thing. But things are designed to have a long shelf life. And the sprouts have a very short shelf life. And that's why they're able to grow without soil, without sunshine, without fertilizer, but they have about a 1 week fuse to go from seed to sprout, and then you can store them for a few more days. So that is not very appealing to a food company, and as a result, in the United States, there are no national or international sprouting companies.
So tell us what I'm holding here. We have one broccoli and one salad mix pack. What do you do with this?
So these are seeds, and basically a 1/4 cup of seeds, and this is a 1/4 cup, 4 tablespoons of seeds, will grow into 6 cups of sprouts, so full cups. So the equivalent of 24 1/4 cups of seeds a 1/4 cup of seeds will turn into 6 cups of sprouts, and these are vegetables. So basically you soak the seeds, you rinse them twice a day, and with no other inputs, no fertilizer, no soil, no sunshine, the sprouts grow.
What's the future of the sprouting company right now? So you started this company, it's for consumers. Where do you see this sprouting, mission, how it evolves, in the U.S. and also globally?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Sprouts have never had a voice, a global voice. And now with the commercialization, and this is our entry-level product, we have a full product line in development, including a fully autonomous sprouting robot.
Wow.
So we see these automated units in the precision agriculture being able to make sprouting ubiquitous. So I see, like during World War II, when there were victory gardens, I see millions, hundreds of millions of gardens around the world. I see this, operating in countries like the UAE, where there's food scarcity, and also the transmission of this in war zones, as well as, there's a place in America called the 𝗂𝗶𝘁 Health Institute in West Palm Beach. So you can go there if you have a serious chronic illness, and they basically feed you sprouts.
Wow. Well, I think we have to wrap it up here, but we will definitely spend more time, Doug, on your book. And I want to talk about the victory gardens, because I think they're coming back, not just for the health reasons, but because of inflation as well. So,
Absolutely.
Doug, thank you so much for spending time with the Food
pleasure.
Institute.